So sorry, folks. Excuse me. So sorry, folks. I was writing a letter and I was writing a letter, sending an email. Like, we just got home from shopping. Like, in the well, when I put the video up, the first thing I did when I came in the door after I had to pee and let Gracie out was to put up that we're going to have our live stream. So I hope everybody got informed in time. How's everybody doing? Please make sure you're on live chat, not top chat. And I am going to give a shout out to our participants. Now, if you want to be shouted out, you gotta type something in the chat. You know why? Because it only shows me the names of the participants, and that's people talking in chat. So if you haven't spoke up and said hello, do her now so I can say hi to you all. All right. So let's go over to the participants. And hey, Carol McKinney, Donna Holland, Faye Z, Joe Mama, Julie Britt, Julie Otteson, Julie's Maine. Now it's starting to jump. Lee McLeod, Lazarek, Lazarek, Lori McKenzie, Michelle Stark, Mr. Buckyar, my favorite pirate friend, Nana Castles, hi darling, Senwa, Pamela Nelson, Patricia Furby, and hey, Raph, wait till you see the turnips I got, the rutabagas, and Terry White. Hi, everybody. It's been a crazy day. It has. Now, let me just make my chat pop out. And whoops. And then I'm going to put it on live chat so I don't miss nothing. Tony DeLuca, how's it going? Okay, so hang on a second here. Let me just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, or if it'll let me. Put it on Do Not Disturb so I don't get any texts or phone calls that might startle the crap out of people. Because apparently you hear it when my phone rings. How's it going, Yarn? Hey, South Arc woman. How's it going, Lisa Schroeder? Helen Burke. Bev, love to when you say hello. Love it when you say hello to Tony. It's just a name, Tony DeLuca. You gotta say it you gotta say it with the Sopranos accent. Hey, Tony DeLuca, how you doing? Right, you know what I mean? I'm sorry if that makes me a verbal racist or a accent racist. Can't help it. Sorry, guilty. Hey, Melody Ray. So glad husband has gone fishing so I do not get bothered while on here. Well, I have had a day. I'll be right back. Oh, come on. Cheese and crackers. What do you think? Everybody's been saying my ears, your ears, your ears, your ear. Oh, wait. You know what? This might be just a little bit more apropos for what I'm wearing. No, I like the yellow ones, man. Typing on a new device. Hey, Furby. Yeah. You honestly think if I went to Dollar Tree to buy lids, I wasn't going to look for this stuff? I got like 5 of them. 5 different kinds. Wait for the holidays. Cheese and crackers. Well, it took me a long time to learn not to take the Lord's name in vain. And it still slips out occasionally, but I do try and fib by saying cheese and crackers. I know, they're just absolutely silly, don't they? I love it. Oh, thank you, Pamela. So I got some for the upcoming. I don't have anything for Christmas, but I have stuff for Halloween. And Briar is buying me. Never mind. Oh, was anybody at Freaky Friday? Say I was. If you were at Freaky Friday, because I got a story to tell you. Was I in the middle of a story before I left? So we went out. You like the yellow side? I know it's a happy color, isn't it? Um, they're not ears. They're pom poms. They're just two-sided pom poms. But I mean, I saw them and went, "Oh, I feel like a teddy bear." Um, Thank you. And in my glasses. So I was, but not for the whole thing. Okay. Do you remember the bird outside? Well, when we got home today and I stepped out of the truck, he went, "Hey, hey, give me a hand over here," right? And here was the neighbor's cat. Now, I have a cat somewhere. He just adopted our property. He came with the property, and his name is Gandalf because sometimes he's white and sometimes he's gray. You just never know. But I think he lives in my greenhouse, right? And I put out food for him once or twice a week in the wintertime just so that, I know he's okay. And the other day I heard, "Rare!" And I thought Gracie was tangling with Gandalf. So I go running out, and I just look, and there's an orange cat shooting off next to over there to the neighbors, and Gandalf is just disappearing through the bush down by my down towards the greenhouse. So I went, okay, he's defending his turf, right? So anyway, this Friday we had Freaky Friday, and it was like, "Bah, bah, bah." It was almost like a really deep-throated, loud squirrel. You know how they go chip, 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 right? So when I got home today, I get out of the truck and he starts. And I go, "What?" And I step forward and there's the orange cat. And he's like, he has an old rotten log behind my pool that he just loves to bang away on. He just eats it, looking for bugs, right? And the cat was stalking him off his log, and he was going up a tree going, "Hey, you seeing this? Where's Gandalf?" Yeah, I don't get out much. I have conversations and I build whole storylines in my head. I should write children's stories, you know that? Just like cut them down. Yeah, the noisy bird. So he started up. It is my pileated woodpecker, and he stands about that big. And he's got a beautiful red crown. Oh, he's gorgeous. They're huge. They look like pterodactyls when they're flying. But they, because they're big. So I never know how to get to Freaky Friday. I never get a YouTube notice. No. Did you subscribe to the channel and ring the gray bell? Right? And I also post it in Facebook. Right? Because it's open. It's totally open. We had a blast. Speaking about Freaky Friday, yes. Oh, yeah, don't speak about that. All it did was make my medication work better. So I'm not going to talk about that here, okay? Hey, Patricia Furia! Oh, I love that picture you sent me, woman. I am hopping. I have been hopping since 6:30 this morning. This is 2 days in a row. I'm going to start just getting up in the morning. Tomorrow, oh, by the way, Briar reported today that he has been intermittently using a hot water bottle wrapped in a towel to lay his ear on it, but he knows not to do it for too long because it can rupture the eardrum if it's not ruptured, right? And he reported today that thanks to a lot of prayers, his ear is running the gunk out. The gunk is coming out. He has no fever, nothing. So I said, okay, just keep it wiped away and keep putting the medicated drops in. And so, but tomorrow we're going to the CLSC. We're going to get the forms for his health card. Because this has been an ongoing battle between him and I for 3 years. We could never get our crap together. And whenever, when I finally did, they sent it back because I used the wrong form, right? So we're going to go to the CLSC. We're going to get the forms. We're going to fill them out. And we're going to get his photo taken, and we're going to send them out, and we're going to ask them for a temporary card, a temporary health card, so I can get him into the doctor. Because that's just, I mean, even in the United States, if you don't have insurance, it doesn't mean you don't get seen, right? Well, no, we had to pay. Not in Canada. That's not the way we operate. It should have been enough that I had his birth certificate on me. And they could have directly sent me the bill, and I would have sent it to Santé du Quebec, the Health Quebec, right? But to ask for cash up front is an affront to Canadians everywhere. It'll probably take about 6 weeks, but it doesn't matter. He'll have the temporary card that he can use, right? They'll give him a piece of paper saying his card's on the way. So we're doing that tomorrow. And then I'm going to ask my doctor to take him on as another patient. And I'm going to ask, and he's going to get a physical. Because my son is 27 years old and he hasn't been to a doctor since he was 14, right? He's got to go. He's got gray hair, man, So thank you for all your prayers, and I really appreciate it. Now, I went to Costco. First we went out to breakfast. Okay. Excuse me. Pay no attention to the woman behind the fan. It is automatic, but he moved from Quebec to Ontario, got an Ontario health card, and moved back here and never got a Quebec one again. Right? Change for Briar is really difficult. And doing, facing, like, this is why I was so angry when they wouldn't let me stay with him in the hospital, because he would have gotten treatment. Bang. Right? But they said, no, you got to pay $250 for the hospital fee. And then you have to pay the $40 to $80 of the doctor's fee. And he said, no, that's over a half a week's pay for me. Right? That's most of my pay for a week. And so he came out, but if I had been there with him, I would have just slapped my bank card down. Frig Costco. I would have gotten him treatment, right? But he wouldn't go back in because emotionally they slammed the door in his face and said, no, you got to pay. I'm over it. Honestly, almost. So, yes, it's BRIAR. It's spelled like Brian, Autumn Gypsy. I had to be totally different. Everybody spells it BREYER or BRIER. It's not as BRIAR. Briar. My son Arthur used to call him Bribbin for years. I don't know why. So yeah, he is doing a lot better. So this morning, we went to, and the reason I'm rolling my eyes is because if we had known where it was, the Howie's GPS took us on the scenic route. We would have made it there in half the time and half the gas. But we went to a breakfast at one of the racers. One of the racers owns a restaurant. He just opened. It's called The Stable, and it's in Metcalfe, Ontario, just outside of Ottawa. Really good food. Large portions, reasonable prices, perfectly cooked eggs. I actually had restaurant eggs. And it was a semi-pro racer meeting because there's different brackets. There's the junior dragsters, there's the dragster, the pro dragsters, there's the semi-pro door cars and the super pro door cars, right? And we're semi-pro, right? Semi-pro door cars. And so we all went out for breakfast, and it was nice that everybody pulled together for one of the other members who lost a son to suicide. And one of the racers who actually was the champion racer this year put half his prize money towards the suicide prevention on behalf of the family. And once we heard that, we all chipped in. So it was like $1,700 or something like that. It was really a really nice, it was a great feeling, right? And then when we were and I wanted to find out where they get their sausages, because they're not the little breakfast sausages. They're the farmer ones. They're like that. And I need those for my Dublin caudal. So the racing community is really amazing. I'll post pictures in Facebook. I also, on our way down through Hull, is some of the most beautiful fall scenery you'll ever see anywhere in the world. Yes, you've got Vermont, we got Quebec, right? So I saw the leaves and I was like, ooh, ah, all the way, right? So on the way home, Howie pulled over in a couple of spots so I could get out and take pictures. So I'll be sharing those on the Connected Hearts Facebook page. For those of you who cannot get out or don't live where fall scenery is a thing, it is my fab favorite time of year after canning's done. Father Tim is coming. Give him my love, okay? Give Father Tim my love. Love you, Fury. Can't wait to see the caudal. Well, right? So I went, and on the way, so I went to Costco, and it doesn't look like I got much, but I bought another package of cards. So now I have 90 Christmas cards. Last year I had 30. But we're doing the Connected Hearts are doing a recipe greeting card exchange. Doesn't have to be Christmas. If you don't want a Christmas card, but you want to be a part of the exchange, we can put in a card that says thinking of you or something, right? Or, hope you're doing well today, and then the recipe card. And this is kind of our way so that nobody has to be alone. Like each one of us who participates is going to draw 5 names. And then we're going to talk to those 5 people and get each other's addresses. And then that way, some of these names are going to overlap. So we could get anywhere between 5 and 10 Christmas cards. And that's a big deal, for some people who don't get a lot. I'm really hoping Mary Jane becomes part of the Christmas card exchange. So I now have 3 sets of holiday cards. And I bought stamps. I had no idea that they gave you a discount on stamps at Costco. Honestly, I did not know. I didn't even do this, did I? I thought it was like one of those government regulated things where stamps are stamps or stamps or stamps. You just pay, because last time I bought a stamp, it's like $1.06, and after taxes, it's like $1.21, right? Per stamp. I got 100 stamps for $88. I'm never buying stamps at the post office again. And then I almost left without them. I'm buying, hey, whose anniversary is it? Hey, happy anniversary, Yarn and Pamela. So we get halfway out of Costco, halfway to the truck. It's parked right across from the doors. And I'm looking through the cart and I said, Howie, where did you put the stamps? He said, what stamps? I said, the card of stamps. He said, there's no stamps in that card, Bev. Did you not get the stamps? So he had to take the receipt. Thank God we didn't get home. They wouldn't have believed us. He had to take the receipt and walk back in the store, and he asked the girl who he showed his receipt to and said, we didn't get our stamps. You know how you show somebody your receipt on your way out and they mark it? He said, he went right back to the same girl who marked it, our receipt, and said, we didn't get our stamps. Where do you get the stamps? And so she directed him. So I pick up a card about yay big. And I put it in my cart. And I go, it says 100 stamps. And I go, and we're, I paid for my 100 stamps, not knowing that this is what you're supposed to get. So it was like, that was 1/4 almost of my shopping budget. It's like if I hadn't asked while we were halfway to the truck, I'd have been out $88.95. So, whoo! They pen the receipt at checkout when they give them. Oh, well, they didn't. Oh, okay. So that, oh, thank God, because I didn't see that. I didn't see that. So if I send a letter from Mississippi to Canada, do I have to add more stamps? No. Why? Because your stamps are worth more than ours. When I send out a greeting to someone in the US, I put 2 Canadian stamps on it. Right? So anyway, we got the stamps. And I'm done my Costco shopping. I'm really pissed. I'm going to be writing to Costco because I want my Honest Earth mashed potatoes back. Because they call them Just Spuds now. It's a different company. And it says potato flakes, milk and butter. Or no, potato flakes, butter, and sea salt. Or something like that, right? And then and it's like, okay. And then I looked at the ingredients, and the very last ingredient's canola oil. Sneaky buggers. But what do? Right? I've been looking for potato flakes since November last year. Right? Like since November. So mine costs more. I'm Canadian, honey. Your American dollar is worth Our Canadian dollar is worth 75 cents American. 75 cents. So think about it. My $1.06 stamp is actually only worth on the American market about 80 cents. And it costs more for us to mail shit here. I'm shuddering at the thought of what these because I'm shuddering at the thought of what these dehydrators are going to cost to send, but I don't care, right? It's like I have gotten so many comments recently about thank you so much, and I'm not taking that on for myself, but people this year have been really like COVID shook a lot of people up, so that, you know what? They don't trust the stores anymore. They don't trust their government. They don't trust nothing. So they fill their pantry. And guess what? I went to Costco today, and they just sold, like we went to breakfast first, and we were in Costco by 1:00, and they sold out of the Kirkland toilet paper. Completely sold out. Now I pay $18.99 for a 30-pack of Kirkland toilet paper. $18.99 Canadian, which is about, $12.99 American or some stupid thing like that, right? I had to pay $21.99 for 40 rolls of Charmin. 40 rolls of Charmin does... What was that? Oh, recycling. Whoo! Be careful, honey. 40 rolls of Charmin does not equal 30 rolls of the Kirkland brand, but you pay more. So I was pissed. And Howie said, then why did you buy them? I said, because I'm done. I'm done. And he goes, well, I could always go. I said, I don't want you going into Costco anymore. I want you to have to stop no farther than Giant Tiger for bananas, milk, and lettuce every couple of weeks. That's it. That's all I want you to have to do. So, yeah. Yeah, but you pay $89 to our $59, so you should have to use one stamp. But no, that's Canadian. And they charge more in Canada. It cost me $1. Does it say on the stamp even? Sorry, I got to change my eyes for this. No, they don't say. They just say Canada now. So, no. But if you buy them individually, they used to have the price on them now. right? They used to have the price on them, but they don't now. Pay more for brand name. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, why why is that timed out? Why was Lena K timed out? Sometimes trolls will act like, you know, so we got to be careful. They can be coming in as you. Okay, I've got to run. Thank you again, Terry. Take care, Julie. I got to get it now, Bev. Brain fart today. We can buy forever stamps here. Well, I think that's what these are. They're for forever Canadian stamps. They don't have a price on them, right? Because when you buy them by a roll of 100, right? I'm going to say 30 of my Christmas cards are going to Canada. Most of the rest will probably be going to the States. So I needed 100 stamps. I put the milk in the fridge. Hun?
Yeah.
When you put the cheese in the dairy, pull the older cheese forward and put the other stuff behind, and put the Philadelphia in there because there's a brick we missed in the fridge. And take out whatever bagels you want for breakfast tomorrow. Leave out. Bye, Julie. Mwah. Oh, you get it now. I thought you were leaving. Brain fart. That's okay. It's just, you know, it is what it is. Right? So, oh God, the leaves today were so beautiful. Eh, How? Like enough that Howie stopped. Enough that Howie stopped. And I am going to be, now you're not going to get a canning video tomorrow. I have to take Briar to the CLSC, and then I'm going to be canning potatoes, and then I'm going to be canning ground meat, and then I'm going to be canning because I got, is Raph still here? Raph, how much meat did I get? It was like, what did I get? Like 20 pounds? 20 pounds of ground meat or something like that. But it's really lean and it's hay-fed local beef. So, but they're in like 2-pound packages. So, and they were in Quebec. If you sell local meat, it has to be frozen. So I'm just going to take them all out, throw them in the roasting pan and do that. So there's a few videos coming. I bought 2 flats of eggs and I'm going to preserve them differently. I'm going to freeze them. That is also going to be a video. So I have a busy week ahead. I think you got 16 to 18 pounds. Okay, well, good enough, right? Good enough. But it's really beautiful ground meat. So I'm kind of happy it was in 2-pound packages because Howie said, oh, you know, save some of that, freeze some of that. And it's like, well, I can't divide it up. Now, if we still had a meat saw, he could have revved it up and just zipped them in half and I could have wrapped them. But nope. We don't have a meat saw, so.
I can cut meat just as well without a damn meat saw.
Whatever. It's okay. It's all. It doesn't matter, honey. I'm gonna can it. It's mostly for spaghetti and stuff this winter. So, I have about 600 rolls of TP, so we're set. Well, I got 80 rolls of the Charmin, and I think, did we just open the last Kirkland one, dear? He doesn't know. He didn't know. Sorry, darling. Not your area of expertise, eh? I just got 20 pounds of ground beef for $1.99 a pound, back to normal price. Well, this is the thing. Think of the thing. Like, this is why I bought an extra tub of the pink Himalayan loose salt. Why? I have one in my pantry. I have one that's 3/4 full in my cupboard. Why? Because I don't know if we're going to be able to get our hands on pickling salt next year. You know what I mean? Like, look at what happened this year, and we have to think ahead for spring. We have no idea what the winter is going to bring. But I got my echinacea, I got my B12, I got my D3 plus magnesium, I got my Mucinex, I got 2 different kinds of cough syrup, I got Benadryl, Gravol, muscle relaxers, and Tylenol. We are good for any kind of upper respiratory complaint. Oh, you're cleaning plum tomatoes as you're listening. Howie could use his chainsaw to cut up the meat. No, no, that would chew it, and it would contaminate it. Oh, nah. No, we had a meat saw that was a dedicated bandsaw for meat. I have a lot of pickling salt. I've been picking that up as well. Yeah, I haven't been able to find any, but the pink Himalayan salt does well. I sent you a website for 40-pound Idaho instant potatoes. I think the shipping will be high. Do you know what? I found one. I saw that, and it was like $75 Canadian for 40 pounds. And I did the math, and that's a bloody good deal because I paid $13. I paid over $1 a packet for the potatoes, right? And I don't think they're any more than 3 pounds. So I paid like $13 for like 3 pounds of dry potatoes, right? 40 pounds at $75 is a whole lot less. But trust me, I'm not going to use 40 pounds of dehydrated potatoes. I'm just not. I got a 5 gallon pail full of peeled potatoes right now, and I still have more to do. So I'm going to be dehydrating and canning potatoes as soon as I get home from town tomorrow. And then, Gracie, what are you doing, baby? You better not be tipping your food bowl over. Don't be acting out just because we left you in the crate today. You hear me, girl? You got something to say to Mom? I didn't think so. She's a brat. She can be a real brat. If every once in a while we'd put a little treat in with her food. We'd put a little treat in with her food, and now she makes this habit of showing that she's pissed when we don't put a little liver treat or something in her food, because she'll sift. It's a nice big flat old pan, right? And she'll sift through it with her snout, and she'll throw it all over the place as if to say, where's my treat? Where's my treat? Well, she's a bugger. You know when you're being talked about, don't you? Oh my goodness. Did you miss Mommy? Oh, the baby. Did you miss Mommy today? You did. What, we're going straight to the scratches and the hugs? Did you get a liver treat? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Did you go near the road? No? Okay, because I let you loose for a little bit while Daddy was out. Yes, Mommy loves you. I'm not going to kiss you. You know why? You've got kibble grit all over your face. You've got kibble grit. All right? Mwah. Go. We'll snuggle later on the couch. Then unstuffed pepper soup to make. I have beef stock setting in fridge to can Monday or Tuesday. I have a case of like the cartons of beef and cartons of chicken in my pantry that I got, but I've got butchered chickens next weekend. Howie and I are camping next weekend and across the driveway, right? But it's so beautiful. We want to light a fire and put the awning out and rake leaves and watch movies and sleep in the coach one last time. Date night in the coach. I've already claimed it, and I told him I'm not putting it off any longer. How long can you leave the peeled taters in the bucket before you can it? I don't know. I'll probably get Howie to pour the water off and put fresh on, but I'm canning them tomorrow. So a couple of days, they should be fine, right? It is going to be fun. I might even cook on the open fire. I think I have a little roast. So I might cook, do a Dutch oven meal. And we'll sit out by the fire and shoot the shit and just be old farts by the fire. You know what I mean? Okay, hurry back, honey. Okay. Just checking. All right. Excuse me because I keep going to do this and then it doesn't get done. There we go. I've been without all day. I because Howie had me so busy this morning that I like getting out the door that I didn't even get a chance to roll one. And then I was going to stop at Hobo's after Costco, and Howie's like, "No, we just drove right by us." Like, ah, that sounds lish. Open fire cooking. No, absolutely nothing happening behind the fan. Wish my sons like soup. My sons had no like Briar's not a huge soup person. Well, he is for canned soup, but last weekend when he was here, excuse me. Last weekend when he was here, I made you saw me can the minestrone soup, right? And so we didn't eat until after 8 because Howie went and picked him up at work, and we thought we'd, even though we were in front of the TV, we thought we'd have dinner together, right? So I made Howie. I said, "You want some soup, brah?" Fine, that's fine. And I said to Howie, "Do you want Parmesan on it?" He goes, "Oh yeah." So I made him a nice big soup plate of soup, and I just sprinkled a little bit of Parmesan on top. And then I got my bowl and I sat down and we started eating, right? And then we finished. And Gracie's like, "Where's the bowl? Where's the bowl?" And Howie looks at Gracie and goes, "Oh, you're not getting the bowl. I want more." And I said, "Yeah, I'm right behind you, right?" And that's when Briar realized, wait a second, they're going back for seconds. Hey, save some for me. I said, "Why? You didn't sound too thrilled about the idea of soup." Yeah, I mean, there was like a cup of broth left over after we ate. It was so darn good. Did you post about it already, Terry, or will you be on the 12th? Oh, wait a second. Jeremy, where are you? Whoa, back up the truck. Where are you, Jeremy? I didn't see this. Did I miss that it's Carmela's birthday? Are you here? Jeremy, if you're here, put your hand up. But when it's home canned soup, I love soup. We live on it all winter. But you've seen my soup. It's not just chicken, Lipton's chicken noodle, man. It's chock-a-block full of, garden celery and peppers and all that stuff. Where is Terry? Where do you sign up? At the Connected Hearts Facebook page, but she hasn't done it. The sign up will be on the Connected Hearts Facebook page. Where is, okay, I'm getting pissy. Where is Jeremy? How far back did I miss this? Jeremiah, are you still here? Okay, because I'll sing. Well, just in case. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. A frog. Happy birthday, dear sweet Carmela. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. I look forward to when we can get together again. Well, I'll make them watch it. I sang happy birthday to her. Okay, what else was I going to talk about? So I did my Costco haul. I've done all, I got to do all my canning. And I bought it. See, I went shopping on Friday too. I got a turkey and I got my bulk barn shopping done and I ate all the cake gummies. There will be no gumdrop cake this year. He told me on his live. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'll make him watch the video. So, what else is going on? I have no idea. All I know is that when I get up with Howard at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to stay up because I've got to pick Briar up at 8. And so I'll just get up and get Howie off to work and have my shower, and maybe I'll organize, get all my canning stuff organized for when I come home and be ready to go, right? It's almost there. I can see the light. It's at the end of the tunnel. The end of the tunnel's getting bigger and bigger in my view. I've got potatoes, can, rutabagas to can, ground meat to can. Oh, and I'm gonna measure out my eggs and do a video on that. I'm getting ready for another winter quilt retreat this next week. I leave on Tuesday. Oh, another quilt retreat. Oh, wonderful. Take lots of pictures. Bev, I bought elderberry honey. How would I use this instead of a syrup? What do you mean? Do you mean cough syrup? That depends on the quality of the elderberry honey. Now, the honey is from the elderberry flower, not from the berry itself. The honey will have been gotten from the elderberry flower, right? So I don't think, I mean, sure, you can put it in, but I don't think you can replace elderberry syrup with elderberry honey. I don't think it's got the same chemical, um, you, the same makeup when it comes to fighting infection. But honey's honey, right? I'm doing sweet pickled mixed veggies, and oh yeah, and I stuck a dill when I bought dill when I was doing my pickles. I had a head of it that was starting to go to seed, so I didn't even think. I just set it on the windowsill, and I just found it yesterday or the day before, and it's all seed. This great big head of dill, it's all seed. So it's going to. I'm going to plant dill next year. And as a medicine or a preventative, I, you know what would might be good is using it to cook down elderberries with, and then like cook down your elderberries and then add the elderberry honey. But be really, really careful because it doesn't store the same once it's diluted. Okay, it doesn't store the same as straight honey or sugared syrup because the glycemic index is different between honey and sugar. My shoulder just went. Mm. I'm having my multi biscuit tea. It's my one tea of the day. Yeah, I know it's a big one, but when have you ever seen me drink a small cup of tea? Right? Okay, it's 42 minutes. Are your hammers polished? Let me go over here and do this. And then after the live stream, I've got to go and wrap up all my chicken because I bought 2 trays. They don't have legs attached, like the legs with the backs attached. You have to get drumsticks and thighs. But these are this was like 10 pounds of chicken. I think I paid $30 for, not even 30. So 10 or 15 pounds of chicken. All right, let's do this. And done and save. And you're going to want to refresh your page. And where did my chat go? There it is. How's it going? Gavel in hand. There we go. Oh, let me just skip these ads and get this out of the way. Oh God. You know, I don't know what it was, but everybody was so nice today. Like when by the time we got to Costco, my back was sore. And so were my knees from getting in and out of like a picnic table style bench and sitting on the bench. And so I got there and there was no cart. There was no electric cart. Actually, there was, but I thought it was just the front wheels of a wheelchair. So I didn't actually go look. So when they're handing out the carts, I said, there's no electric carts. And he goes, yes, there is. He said, I just saw one leave the store. And he got the radio and he got one of his buddies. And the buddy drove it on over and he pulled it up aside and he said, there you go, and it's fully charged. I said, God bless you. And he said, he said, there should be at least 10 of these at all Costco stores, but there's only 4. He said it's wrong. He said especially with the aging population, really nice boys, you know. So yeah, please don't share this live stream, even though it is now public, okay? Because I don't want it shared outside because that's where they come from. So Furby kicks ours. Hey, McCann's Heart, how's it doing? I didn't keep the jars just in case they had a fracture. What jars are you talking about, babe? I had for the first time and 2 lids blew off in the canner. Holy cow, really? Wow, were they wide mouth? I worry about the integrity of the lid inserts in wide mouth jars now because it looks so that like it'll buckle so easy. I prayed for you to have a good day. Makes me happy for you. Mom says hi. Say hi to Mom for me, Lena. Hi, Mom. Um, it was a really good day. You know, it was just a really good day. I got lids. And even if I'm going to test just a couple of them, but even if they don't work, I'll just put those potatoes in the fridge for another day, right? Even if they don't work, I'll just use them on dry stuff, right? Because God knows I'm going to have a lot of dry stuff. Hey, the crazy canner, how's it going? Didn't keep the jars in case they had a fracture, at least even a chip, eh? So that's good thinking, Rose, but oh my goodness. What a tragedy. I hate it when I lose a jar. When a jar breaks in the canner, it's like, damn, you know? And because there's nothing you can do but throw that jar out. Absolutely nothing. And the contents of it too. Put those good days in your pocket to pull out and remember. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, from start to finish, we had a wonderful breakfast with really cool people. And one of the junior dragsters was sitting right next to me. If you see this, hi, Olivia. And she's showed me her sister's dress. I guess her mother's getting remarried. And she showed me her sister's dress. She said, mine looks just like that, only it has a ballroom skirt. And it's spaghetti straps and it's got laces up the back. And I said, you know what? We'll go really. I said, are you going to wear like a shawl or something? And she said, we haven't looked yet because the wedding's in October. I said, get a little bolero jacket. And she said, what's that? She's only 12, right? I said, it's a little shorty jacket that really doesn't button up. It's just cut away kind of like this. And it just goes here. And it has long sleeves, but it's all made of lace. Get a lace bolero jacket for that dress. You'll be the star. Well, other than the bride, right? Which is your mom, so it's okay to outshine the bride on that day, right? So, hey, Lori Rich from Iowa. Robert Hickman. Hey, darling, how are you? Hey, atta girl. How's Georgia today? So, and then we went to Costco, and I had you know what? I was sitting. I got the electric cart, and I've had them, I've parked them outside the bathroom, gone in, come out, and they've been gone. So Howie met me thank you, dear. Howie met me at the bathroom with the big cart, and I said, okay, you stay with the cart, and don't let anybody take it. So into the bathroom I went, and in and out I came, washed my hands, all that stuff, sat on the cart right outside the women's bathroom while Howie went to use the bathroom, right? And this very confused looking man comes out of the women's bathroom looking around at the door. And I said, honey, it happens all the time. Just ask the folks at the racing. I always accidentally go into the men's. And I don't even know I'm there. I said, besides, babe, it's just toilets, right? And he went, yeah, you're right. Anyway, after he leaves, this little wee tiny Asian cleaning lady comes out. And she's like, looking around, and she looked at me, and I went, yeah. And she started laughing. Well, 2 or 3 times while I was going around the store, I ran into this little I don't know if she was a ghost and just having fun with me, but she was like, you know, she'd have a broom and a little dustpan, and she's going around the store and picking up stuff. And I ran. And so there was one point where we were actually dancing in the aisle. Like I'm in my chair, right? But we had a couple of belly laughs every time we ran into each other. And then I found the lids at the Dollar Tree, and I got to stop. Howie stopped the truck in a couple of places so I could take pictures of the fall foliage. And Briar told me that he was healing. And I was like, it's just a good day to be alive. It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're glowing inside. And when you wake up, ready to say, I'm gonna make a snappy new day. I loved Mr. Rogers. I loved Mr. Rogers. Balderdash. Hi, Laura. How's it going? I watched your live last night and want to tell you that I prayed for you and Briar last night. Love you so. You're a great example of love and caring like mom. I wasn't always this nice. But thank you so very much, because Briar's ear is now puking out the crap. He has no fever. So the Tylenol and the antibiotic drops are working. And tomorrow we're going to go get him a health card. Enough said, right? So, oh, Angie Mac. Andrew! What's going on, Angie Mac? I'll come back to you in a minute. What's going on? I just found out I'm diabetic. I've been eating like crap all year. Now I'm researching what to eat. Stay away from white stuff, rice, potatoes, white bread. Rye bread is lower on the glycemic index than any other kind of bread. So, if you like rye bread, that's good. And stay away from artificial sweeteners, because they will confuse your body. Okay? What happens is your body thinks it's getting sugar. Your pancreas thinks it's getting sugar, or whatever it is that makes your blood sugar freak out. It thinks it's getting sugar, but it's tricking it into treating you like you're not a diabetic. It makes your body think that you're getting sugar and you're not a diabetic. The moment you add anything with sugar in it, your body kind of quadruples the insulin output. It's like, what? What are you doing? You're not supposed. It's like, having a teaspoon of sugar every day and then eating 5 pounds. That's what your body does, kind of, right? Do your research. Don't quote me. I'm not a doctor. But I'll tell you something. We got rid of artificial sweeteners, and Howie's diabetes is much better under control with reduced sugar and a change in diet. And so replace your potatoes with sweet potatoes. Don't use artificial sweeteners. Cut back on your bread. Eat a high protein and lots of leafy greens. Lots of nuts and seeds and sweet potatoes and kale and broccoli and stuff, right? Just eat healthier. Just eat healthier. So other than that, you're peachy. What a wonderful day. Yes. Okay. Beth Miller, hi. M&M Natural Products. Hello. Hi, Seashell. Golden Twine, Lori Park. And where's my Andrew? Hey, so-and-so. Empty Nester, Julie, Lori Park, Pam Graham, and Malcolm Ringle. Hi. Yes, Bev, something isn't right with me. I'm scared because I am alone. You've been alone for a long time. Why are you afraid now? Can you elaborate? Because maybe we can help you get past that fear. And if we can't, it doesn't hurt to try, right? Who just did that? Who did that? Ribby! Hi! It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling. Exactly. Andrew, Tanya Logan, Jody Savini, Angie Mack, Terry White, Celeste Auto Care, Terry Golf, the Euro Cooking Canuck. Hi, baby. And Jody. All right. Pay no attention to the woman behind the fan. That's why I put the pink pom-poms on this way, not the yellow. This is the first time I've been able to medicate. Thank you. Thank you. I realized, okay, I must have collapsed my turbine there. I realized that although I was not trusting Zenny Optical with my bifocals like I did last time because they weren't quite right. Hey, Denise! Oh my God, I thought it was white on the other side of the yellow. No, there's a little piece of thing there. I couldn't quite get it off. Right? So, see, such a happy color. Isn't it a happy color? Uh, what was I talking about? I totally lost it. Thank you so much, Ribby. I've got surgery on Friday. Ulnar nerve decompression. That's your back, isn't it? Isn't that for your back, Andrew? Are you stocked up on edibles and smokables for when you get out? I went to Dollar Tree today, and I found some of the most fun headbands. And I'm gonna showcase them all over the next month. Are you gonna put a turbine video on CW? I should, you know that, because the live streams never get replayed because we just play copywritten music and dance. So, hey, Charlotte Schmeltz, how's it going? Hey, Kim, no, you didn't miss it all. Not at all. So it is for your back, isn't it, Andrew, that you're going for? I hope you got things. Which potato is best for canning? Got me. I don't know. I only got a couple of Yukon Golds. They didn't do well at all, did they, dear? The first set of 4 beds. He's gone. The Yukon Golds did not do well at all. But we got about 35 pounds of potatoes, 35 pounds of potatoes. I can them all. I just can them all. But I'm not planting potatoes next year. Angel, hi, darling. Hey, Ann, how's it going? I think ulnar nerve is elbow. I do Idaho russets. I do whatever I can find. But I've never had a problem. The only time I had a problem is when I raw packed them. And I know people who raw pack them. And yes, there is videos out there for dry canning potatoes. It's not the same heat treatment, even in a pressure canner, because you're baking them. You're air cooking them, and there's a difference between convection and pressure cooking. Okay? Bev, you are a wealth of info on just about everything in life. We are lucky to have you. Oh no, do your own research. Don't quote me on this shit, because I could get somebody killed. No, seriously though, always do your own research. This is just stuff I've been picking up because I was going to dry can potatoes. It's opening the elbow for my finger nerves. Yes, I've stocked up on medication. Okay, you're not going to have to roll anything, I hope. Okay. Oh, honey, well, we're going to make sure we keep you in our prayers. You know, you're automatically going to be in them anyway. Anybody in the chat's automatically added. Like, you know, any prayer requests put in the chats automatically goes up with the ending. I raw pack but soak for 30 minutes in cold citric acid water before packing in jars. Why? Oh, because citric acid is preservative. But I think it's a cooking. Now, how long have you been doing that, Donna? Crazy canner. I can either red or yellow. My daughter likes to make soup from canned russets because of the starch content. Okay. Canning question. I want to can ground beef. Can I put about 2/3 of a jar and broth in a quart and jar it? Be safe. You have to cook hamburger. You do know you have to cook hamburger before you can it, right? And I am doing a canning, I'm dry canning hamburger this week. But you do know that you cannot raw pack hamburger ever, 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 not even with hot broth. So if you fill the jar 3/4 full with ground cooked meat and then top it up with broth and then pressure Canada's meat, you should be fine. However, I recommend if you're going to can cooked ground beef, you put a quarter, start the canning process, start loading your jars with broth first. Hamburger's a bitch to debubble. Okay, so start with some broth, about a third of the jar of broth, then top up hamburger, and then debubble and top up your liquid and debubble again. Okay, because it's too precious of a content in your jar to risk anything. Does that answer your question? Who asked me that? Um, Canning question. Okay, that was Terry. Terry Golf. We watched the movie you recommended, Dark Waters. It makes you think about these big companies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So grateful to have this live chat. Thanks, honey. You know, Malka, if you got faith, right? Hope and love can't live with fear in the same heart at the same time. It's really a choice. A lot of time, it's not always a choice. There's some of us who suffer mental and emotional disorders, right? So, feelings aren't always a choice. But you can combat them with, peace and loving thoughts, peaceful thoughts, and meditation and prayer. Okay? And because, like anything else, moods have a lifespan. Okay? And sometimes you just got to white knuckle it until it passes. Right? But you have my email if you ever want to talk. Okay? And no, I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone who shares their experience, strength, and hope, when I can. Citric acid prevents browning. Well, someone said what they did is they just soaked them in cold water and then poured that water off and used a fret because it's the starch that browns, the excess starch that you haven't rinsed off, I heard. Today's overriding thought for me is thank you, God, for my husband. Amen. My rock and love. I need to tell him more often how much I love him, my bearded beard man. And hey there, Papa Howie. You know what? Howie just takes my love for granted, and it's a wonderful thing. It doesn't take it for granted, but I tell him so often because I've seen how fast life can change in a heartbeat. So have I told you I love you today? Oh, I think he's watching an engine building video because he's like immersed. But I tell him every day. And he says, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's, yes, dear, I love you too. But he never ends a phone call from me without telling me he loves me. Love. Oh yeah, I'm getting medicated here. Love, prayers, plea for my homeless cat that we had to let go yesterday. Oh, honey. Okay. Hi, Matthew Thomas from Chicago. Rain tonight, unless you'll get it tomorrow. Well, you know what? I said to Howie we had to get pictures today of the fall foliage because I said we're one heavy rain away from 50% of the leaves dropping. One heavy rain and a decent wind, right? When you get to 100,000 subscribers, come to Nebraska. Why? No, not that I wouldn't like to see Nebraska. It's corn country, isn't it? The next time we travel to the States, it will be because Howie's going on a car course that he has to take. And the next one he thinks is in Wisconsin. So, love. Thank you for this wonderful forum. There are a lot of great people here. I was just telling Howie on our way home, I said, these are my these daily live streams. I really feel it when I miss them, when I can't have one. and I'll probably, I'll give up canning videos. I'll do less canning videos if it means I can do this every day too, right? But I was telling Howie, it's like a mini meeting, a support group every day. And I never come away from these without feeling that I've been uplifted and loved and a part of something bigger than myself. You know what I mean? And it's just really, and Howie has noticed the change. Howie has noticed the change. Say if you remember how very, very angry I was not that long ago. Like when I first started doing rants. Do you remember? But what's the point of propagating negative emotion? Anything you drop in the pond, any pebble you drop in the pond is going to ripple. So why not make it a positive ripple? I had no idea how many people I was impacting until my daughter-in-law said, Mama, well, she doesn't call me Mama, right? She'll never call me Mom. She calls me Bev, but a lot of people call me Mama. It's habit. She said, Bev, you are an influencer now. And I went, what are you talking about? She said, you're at like 70,000 subscribers. I said, yeah. And she said, people listen to what you say. And I went, oh my God. And she went, uh-huh. And I went, okay. And that's when I really started to do more emotional inventory on who I want to be. And not just who I want to present to you, because you've got to have me and all of me and honest me, right? But I didn't want to be angry anymore. I didn't want to be angry anymore. What's the point? What does it solve? Yes, for a moment, anger is a useful tool. It allows us to feel. I'm not saying anger doesn't have a place in our lives. Okay? Anger does. Like when they say, no, you can't stay with your son in the hospital, and then he comes stomping out without treatment because I wasn't there to mediate. You feel me? Right? That made me angry. But coming here always lifts me up. You guys have no idea how important you are to me every single day. Every single day. And yeah, there are people out there that oh, Bev, do you have a good steak recipe? I'm making steak tomorrow night and I need help. Well, how are you going to cook it? That's the first question. Are you going to grill it on the barbecue? Are you going to broil it in a broiling pan under the broiler? Or are you going to fry it? Or are you going to pound the piss out of it till it's the size of a pizza pan and stuff it and roll it up? How do you want to cook it? Hey, Sandy Rush. Hey, Freaky Geek. You don't need to be roof flipping mad to rant and get something off your chest to go back to feeling better. And that's true. But I no longer really do a rant and then record it and upload it. Because when I talk here and I'm upset or I'm hurting or I'm angry, you guys, it's interactive. I'm not just shouting at a camera. I'm talking to people, and I feel the love. I feel the support. It's bloody miraculous on a daily basis. I shit you not. Hey, Andrea Brooks, how's it going? I love who you are. That's what brings me back. You're real and down to earth where most of us live. Well, honey, what's the point of living any other way? Right? I was talking to a gentleman today who is just starting to date after his divorce. His wife's remarrying. His ex-wife is remarrying, but he's just starting to date. And he started dating a friend that he knew when he was younger. And their first reaction to running into each other again was like, I'm just getting out of a shitty relationship, and I just, if you want to talk, that's cool, but I'm not sure I'm ready. Next thing you know, they're dating after a while because, and he said, she's real, you know, she under, and I said, that's the most important lesson that people never get. Not, no, that's not true. Forgive me. It's a lesson that comes with age. There's so, in a world where broiler or stovetop, not sure yet. Okay, when you make up your mind, I'll give you a recipe. So when you make up your mind that you're going to spend the rest of your life with somebody, don't spend 10 grand on a wedding unless you're a millionaire every day. Unless you are willing to spend just as much on the wedding monetarily as you are emotionally investing into researching your partner and yourself. When I say researching, find out if he snots in the tub or throws, streaky underwear under the bed. These things, it's the little things that can drive you batshit crazy in a marriage. Love is not always enough. You gotta have commonality. You've got to know what you're getting into. A lot of people today put $20,000 down on a wedding and then can't figure out why they're coming home divorced from the honeymoon. And I have seen it happen. Right? So, what's the point of trying to be somebody for somebody else? You're being, when you're not even going to give them all of you because you're not even being authentic with yourself. So that's where it's got to start. And so we were talking and he said, well, I said, that's the whole point, right? I said, Howie and I have been together 30 years, right? 27 of them married. And it, thank God, you got to have love, and it's got to be love, right? And you both got to know and understand what that love means before you commit a lifetime to each other. Because I only doing it once. And that's why I waited, right? No canning lids at dollar store. I looked today. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Oh, that's a quilt. Sent to me by Terry Enyon, I believe her name is. And I think it was 2016 or 2018. I think it was 2016. And I'm pretty sure it's the same Terry who does these, is it not? But see, we worry. Let's face it. When Howie first moved in, he never came home that I didn't have on a bit of lipstick and eyebrow and my curls were in place. Right? And then one day I got really sick. I got an infection in my balance gland, and I couldn't go down the stairs. Arthur thought it was a riot because he was a toddler, and I'm going down the stairs on my bum, and he's riding on my back, right? And I couldn't even stand up to brush my teeth. Everything, I was like on a rolling ship, and I was like. And I said, I feel horrible. And he goes, why? I said, because I didn't even put on lipstick. And he goes, you honestly think that matters? I don't wear makeup. I don't wear jewelry, Same Terry. Thank you, Terry White. 30 years with my husband. And they say each has to give 50-50, but that ain't true. Each has to give 100% for a marriage to work. And that's true. And it took me 12 years with Howard before I finally surrendered that last 10% because I was giving him 90. And I couldn't figure out why I kept running away, making him prove his love by chasing me down. And when he finally chased me down in Quebec, I said, okay, fine. You got it. You got it. You want me? You got all of me. And by God, you never try and leave because I'll hunt you down. I said, what's mine stays mine. and I won't put up for nonsense. And he goes, finally, can we buy a house now? Like, can I look for a job in Ottawa now? You know? And I went, and I was kind of like this. And he said, Bev, I have never been in doubt of my love for you. Only you were. And why? Because I had always kept 10% back. 10% back. So that if anything went wrong, I could pick myself up, dust myself off, and start all over again like I had done many times before. But the problem is, when you hold back part of yourself, you cannot equally cleave together as man and wife. Right? So make pretty damn, she took 12 years. But you know what? Ever since then, I've never doubted his love. I'd only doubted that I was love worthy. I didn't know I was love worthy. I didn't think I was worthy of that kind of love and devotion. I didn't know it because I didn't believe it in myself. See, you can't accept something you don't understand. Do you understand? You can't accept love, pure love and devotion, if you don't think you're worthy of it. So you're always holding a little bit back like that. Right? But do know your partner when you finally surrender. Right? When you finally accept that I still didn't understand what he saw. Because by this time, I was 350 pounds. I was bigger than I am now. I was 360 pounds. I had no idea what he saw, but it didn't matter to him. All he wanted was me. You know? Exactly. So there is, like we said, there is no 50-50. Because it says in the good book, as the good book says, and I'm not often quoting the Bible, okay? But I think it's a really good textbook to learn shit from, okay? And it says, a man leaves his mother and cleaves unto his wife. Cleave. Oh no, that might be inappropriate. Cleave, however you want to do it, okay? And what that means is, over time, you're like this. You're two people trying to figure out how to live together in one space because you're supposed to be one. But what you don't realize is that doesn't happen overnight. Over time, you chip little pieces away of yourself that you don't need anymore because your mate fills that void, that part of you that you no longer need, right? So, for instance, I can't remember the last time I put garbage any farther than my porch because my husband, for all of our marriage, has always taken the garbage out. Okay? So I can't remember the last time I had to change my own tires, or I've never had to change my own tires. I've never had a car until Howie. You know what I mean? So those parts of me that I no longer use or have become redundant get left behind. And then so a little piece opens up and the cleaving begins. Right? And pretty soon, how am I going to do this? And pretty soon, you guys are like this. And you are one. And that's why so many marriages that are when a spouse dies and you've been married more than 30 years, it sometimes kills the partner within a year. The only reason my dad survived was because he had children he had to live for. He had to live for, right? Hey, Aldo, how's it going? True love sees our spirit and not the package. And that's true. And you know what's really cool? Is that we met when we met as alcoholics. We married as practicing alcoholics. We had bought our first house drunker than skunks. And then we sobered up with 2 kids and a mortgage. And son of a bitch, everything was real. Sober. Son of a bitch, everything's real. Right? But I'll tell you what. Now, and I will tell you another fact. Anybody who's in AA or anybody who's in 12-step recovery and went in with a partner will tell you that 2 people who meet drunk, marry drunk, and sober up very, very seldom stay together. Very, very seldom. Because by rights, when we sobered up, we should have looked at each other and said, and we got married when? Seriously, dude. The only reason everything wasn't a blur is because I was a binge drinker and Howie was a daily drinker. So I kept tabs on everything. Right? But the love was there. The love transcended the alcoholism. So the love that brought us together was still there in sobriety. And that's the only thing we were sure of. Right? So I love that you have had a love at first sight story. It wasn't love at first sight. It wasn't. Do you not know? I met Howie 8 years before. Not only did I meet him, my cousin's best friend was girlfriend. The love of his life when he was a teen. I met him at an Apsley dance in the Apsley Community Center when I was like 18, 19. He was about 15. Okay? 15 going on, maybe 14, 15 going on 16. And it was dim, and he asked me to dance, and he was the right height, and he cut a fine leg, cut a fine figure. And I said, sure. I got up on the dance floor, and I was dancing with a drunk 15-year-old, right? He's like, hey, you want to come to a party? Yeah, you want to come to a party at the cottage? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, honey, I'm sorry, no. You're just a little bit young for me. And he goes, nah, baby, no way. And off he went, right? Thanks. Anyway, it was a good chuckle, right? 8 years later, my neighbor introduced me to him. And I didn't recognize him because he was 23 and he had beer bloat and, his hair was short. And I didn't recognize him at all until after a year together, his mother gave him photo albums and I went through them and I saw his picture at 15 years old and I went, you're the kid. And he goes, what? I said, tell me, have you ever been to an Apsley dance in the summertime? And he goes, oh, hell yeah, we used to go pick up the local girls. I said, not this local girl. I remembered you. So when in the broiler on YouTube, maybe I can just watch that. No, get your broiler fired up, okay? And just steak spice it. And get it, depending on how rare you like it, get it under that broiler. And don't use a fork. Use tongs. Because when you stab meat, it bleeds and gets dry, okay? So use tongs. Put your favorite seasonings on. And if you don't have any steak spice, salt, pepper, garlic, and a little bit of ground dill seed, right? Pepper, salt, pepper, garlic, and dill seed. And just shake that all over it and get that sizzling and then pull it out, get your tongs and flip it over and sizzle it again. Right under the broiler. Just sear it under the broiler. Oh, but if you're doing it soon, I would have recommended that you maybe marinate it in like olive oil and steak spices and maybe a bit of lemon juice for a couple of hours beforehand. So if you have the time, that would be a good thing to do. Everything he said started to make me laugh. I thought my husband was such a dork when I first saw him. Well, after I met Howie, and it was not love at first sight because my friend got me over to her, down the hall into her apartment or her townhouse on false pretenses. because she told me I had to meet this guy. And I said, no, no, thank you. I'm done fixing men to go back to their girlfriends. Done. Right? And she said, okay, all right. And then an hour later, she said, what are you doing? And I said, washing the floors. Arthur was gone with his dad for the day, washing the floors. And she said, well, when you're done, when the floors are dry, come on over and have a cup of coffee. I said, I'm not biting. She said, oh, no, they're not here. How? They had to work today. They have to work today. I said, oh, all right. So I finished and I went down in Italian dressing for about 3 hours. That's a good one too, Mr. Bucky. So I went down and I'm in a pair of old shorts and a paint-stained t-shirt covered in sweat, my hair in a ponytail, right? But I had like a shag that I could, whip up a couple of curls and, but I was totally makeup free, everything. And I'm sitting down on her couch having a cup of tea. She said, well, just I don't want coffee. She said, bring your tea. So down I come. But I did drink coffee back then. And I just sit down on the couch and in walks her husband and Howard. And I looked at her and she said, well, they weren't here and they do have to work today. But I sent them to the store for coffee cream. And so here was Howard in a work shirt, undone almost to his belly button, his work clothes from the day before because they came straight from work and partied all night, eating pepperettes and drinking chocolate milk. And he hadn't brushed his teeth, and his teeth didn't look too nice, and he was short and kind of stocky and brown-eyed. None of the above were my MO, right? So I said, oh, nice to meet you. Thank you very much. And I looked at her and I said, later. And I went home, right? 3 or 4 hours later, she said, Bev. I said, what? She said, we need a fourth for euchre. She knew my weakness. So I went over and played. I said, well, I've got to put Arthur to bed, right? She said, he's 2, Bev. Bring his bottle or whatever and his teddy bear. He'll be fine, for a couple hours. And she said, even if you leave him in bed, just leave the window open. He's right there. You'd hear him. I said, no, I won't leave him alone, right? So I brought Arthur over with me. And he plunked himself down on the couch next to Howie. And Howie said, hey, buddy. And Arthur just leaned against him and stuck the bottle in his mouth. And we were playing euchre. And he had apparently showered and whatnot. We were playing euchre. And he pulled a trick off the table. And I said my tagline, I could kiss you for that. Right? Because I'd gone left and bower. Right? Left and bower, or left and ace was all I made it on. And he pulled me out of the fire to win the game. And he just smiled at me and he leaned across the coffee table and he kissed me right there. I still feel it right there. And I went, and I had this flood of emotion. Like I didn't know what to do. Honest to God. This cool, collected woman who didn't need a man to be happy, blushed for the first time in 10 years. And Carrie goes, look at her face, look at her face. And I just went, excuse me. And I got up and I went in the kitchen to get a beer out of the fridge. Because I went red. And Howie comes walking around the doorway into the kitchen and he goes, are you okay? Did I overstep? He was a gentleman, even as a drunk, right? Did I overstep? And I said, no, I'm just, you caught me by surprise. And he went, oh, that's nice. He grabbed my face. And when our saliva mixed, it was a chemical reaction that would have set off Mount Vesuvius. I shit you not. 12 hours later. Are there any children here? 12 hours later, he was in my bed and he's never left. A month later, we jumped the broom and he moved in. I mean, he didn't move in with me that night. I'm saying he was the only man. Didn't matter that he was short and, that his teeth needed regular brushing. and that he was brown-eyed and stout and had a little beer belly. Didn't mean a damn thing. What it meant was I couldn't live without that kiss. I couldn't live without it. Yeah, well, it has its bumps. Trust me. It has its rough moments and its rough spots. But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. Because if it didn't have the rough spots, what would we have to triumph over with our love? Right? But I'm telling you again, love is not always enough. You can love somebody so totally, but if they don't return that percentage, then it's never going to work, because you're going to spend the rest of your life pulling in harness side by side. And sometimes you're going to lag, and your husband's going to pull up the slack. And sometimes he's going to lag in something else, and you're going to pull up the slack, but you're always pulling, but you got to be pulling in the same direction. You feel me? So, yeah, some things are just meant to be. Oh, yeah. And after he left, because I met him Saturday, and he left for work on Monday. And I phoned my cousin Angie, who lived in the same housing complex. And I said, "Oh, Angie, now this is Maria's sister. Maria was best friends with Howie's teenage life girlfriend. They were best friends for a long time. So she knew him really well. Maria did, right? As a matter of fact, I think he sparked her first joint for her. Anyway, I phoned my cousin Angie, right? And I said, I've met someone. Now she knows what that meant, because I already had a sperm donor picked out, and I had a gentleman friend that I used to date that we were just friends now, and he'd come over and watch hockey every once in a while, and I had it all, and I had it all planned out. And then I met Howie. So when I say I met someone, she's like, "Oh my God, this is epic," right? And she said, "What's his name?" I said, "Howie." And she went, "Bev, not Howie Foley. He's such an asshole." I went, "Oh no, I can't. It's done." I said, "It's already done." That was it. It was already done for the rest of my life. Okay, take care, Mr. Bucky. Now Pinnacle is my favorite. What's Pinnacle? What's Pinnacle? Don't worry if she misses a question. I know exactly what you mean. My hubby is short, stocky, and only one to ever give me goosebumps. Howie still does. He still does. He just has to like walk by and pat my bum, or, give me a squeeze or a kiss, and it doesn't happen often. You know why? Because I turn into a seething tigress of need as soon as he touches me. It's like, oh, whoa. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, so we're entering this phase of our lives as empty nesters. Have been empty nesters for quite some time. He's taken up racing. That's fine. It's not a Corvette and a blonde, right? It's racing, and I'm involved, and it's awesome. So some things are meant to be. Brushing together, walking by. Yep. Well, that's 30 years, and it's it only gets better too. Once you reach that point where you realize you are now one, that you are that you are not just tandem, you are one. One leg steps forward and you're the other leg, right? Once you get to that point, everything else is, gravy. Everything else is gravy. Why? Because you have solid faith that your marriage will withstand anything, so you can get real comfortable with each other. Hey, Ken, darling, how are you? Lou, just Lou. And we are both so differently shaped now. I'm much heavier and he's much older and droopy. I'm a lot heavier. I started gaining weight as soon as I met him. As soon as I met him. Why? Because I was cooking for a man, right? And I loved, and the first big meal, the first real home cooked meal I ever made him was lasagna, deep fried breaded mushrooms, and Caesar salad and garlic bread. And that's his birthday every year, except I don't do the deep fried mushrooms anymore. I might someday soon. I always said I was marrying tall, dark, and handsome and rich. Instead, I married short, blonde, gorgeous, and not rich at all. Nope. Howie didn't even have a phone number when I met him. I had to phone him at work. When he told me, phone me at work, I went, no, I'm going to do that. Right? But yeah, and he is from January through March. I am 4 years older than him, and he does not let a day go by without ribbing me over it. But guess what? I always thought I would marry an older, tall, dark, blue-eyed man, right? Someone who would appreciate the girl in me as well as the woman, right? I met Howie. He had just been kicked out. Well, not kicked out. His parents had moved to, sold their house, so he had to find a place to live. And he'd only lived alone for 6 months. And he wouldn't even let me see his apartment when he didn't bring anything. He brought his clothes, an old beat up mirror from a dresser, and some dishes. It was like, wow. Everything was left behind. He said, Bev, it wasn't worth saving. you know. So had a trash bag of his clothes when he moved it. Pretty much, Lee. Pretty much, Lee. Hubby cooked and baked for me. I was impressed. You know what Howie did? The night he moved in. Well, not the night he moved in. It was the week before. I had the week after, or 2 weeks after we met, he would come home with Rod on Fridays and go back to work with him on Mondays, right? Because he didn't have a car, right? And so at one point, I was going up to see my dad. I phoned my dad, said, hey, you want to come pick me and Arthur up? And he said, sure. It's only a 45-minute drive, right? So we went up to visit my dad. And the phone rang on Friday night. And I answered the phone. I said to Dad, who could that be? It's, you're here. I don't know. Probably, one of your brothers or your sister, right? Picked up the phone, and it was Howard. Now, if you notice, he never refers to himself as Howie. That's a me thing. His name is Howard, right? And so I picked up the phone and said, hello. And he said, is Bev there? And I said, this is. And he said, hi, it's Howard. And I went, Howie, how did you find me? He said, well, it's not difficult. Apparently, he came home for the weekend with Rod and went over to my place 2 doors down and knocked on the door and nobody was home. And he come back and said to Carrie, where's my old lady? I was already his old lady after 2 weeks. And she said, she went up to her dad's up in Apsley. And he goes, if I pay for the gas, can we go get her? Well, she said, well, not now. You guys are drinking, but yeah, tomorrow. So he phoned me Friday night, said, we're coming to get you tomorrow. I said, okay. Okay. So, just, memories. Hubby makes me tea or coffee every morning and takes great care of me. I'm in a wheelchair. He stayed by my side through cancer and lymphedema. Wow. Yeah, that's love, man. That's love. I mean, I often have felt like a burden. And again, you remember the ranting, raging person? Ranting about stuff I had no control over. What's the point? Right? Like I said, anger has its place until you resolve it. But shouting at a camera in a rant is not resolving anything, right? Coming here resolves stuff. But I was always thought I was going to be more and more of a burden. And I am. But guess what? I'm also seeming healthier. I'm moving more. I'm doing more. And he encourages it, but it doesn't push ever, right? It's like, we went shopping and he said, store we ran or whatever. He said, are you going to be okay if there's no electric cart? And I said, well, I guess I'll have to be, right? But I mean, I'm okay. Right? I'm not better, but I'm better. You know what I mean? I can't see you as an angry person. Oh shit, mama, you're lucky I took most of my old rants down. I was totally bipolar, because I wasn't applying my recovery program to the rest of my life. And so once I started doing that, things just started, working out, right? Get you your fire and your delicious dinner and your husband. That's next weekend. That's what we're doing. We're gonna take Gracie and I might get a couple of T-bones. Oh, Howie, are you in a course? Oh, why don't we get a couple of T-bones next weekend and do them in them baskets over the fire? We did that when we were camping. I have these things. Huh? You want me to cook tonight? I'll think of something. It won't be long, honey. When we went camping, what I do is I took T-bone steaks and I put a little bit of, I don't know if it was olive oil or avocado oil and steak spices, and then I vacuum sealed them raw like that in the fridge. And then when we went camping, I took them out of the package, and we have, those, it's like a two-sided basket on handles, right? It's just like a grill, right? But there's a hinge, and we just put them in there and locked it, and he cooked those steaks over an open fire like that. Oh my goodness. It was so good. Freaky Sunday? No, I've got to go cook apparently. First thing I ever cooked my husband was macaroni and cheese with bacon and tomatoes. My cooking in the beginning was always homemade out of a box. My golden twine, my friend Glenna, God love her, thought she was one of these people that really didn't know how to cook. Like, to her, the first time she cooked what she thought was a homemade meal for a guy, she said it was a canned ham and it was boxed scallop potatoes and tinned vegetables. I said, honey, that's not cooking, that's heating up. I used to babysit for her, and she'd come over. She'd say, no wonder my kids won't eat, her older son. I babysat her younger son, and her older son would come over and say, Mom, I'm hungry. What's for supper? And she'd say, go open a can of soup and make a sandwich, right? And he goes, that's not food. And I said, Glenna, I agree. And she goes, well, it's not my fault you spoil my kids with homemade soup for lunch. You know what I mean? Once they started tasting homemade soup, tin didn't work anymore, right? Do you see or hear anything about Frankie? Every once in a while, hi, Billy. Every once in a while, I get, she just lives the next county over. Actually, I'm going over in that county tomorrow to go to the CLSC with Briar, but she lives in the next county over. And every once in a while, like when Gracie's face got stung by a bee and was all swollen up, there was a little picture posted on Facebook of Frankie, and there was a little crudely drawn heart and a little crudely drawn note saying, I hope you feel better, Gracie. Love, Frankie. And so every once in a while I get a picture and she's like laying in between mommy and daddy in the bed, or she's riding in the car next to mom in the Jeep or whatever, right? She's living the life that Gracie wouldn't let her have here. They couldn't do it, right? So Aldo, what did Aldo want? When did you get sober? 1997. June 2nd, 1997. That's when I got sober. Howie got sober June 4th, 1997. We got sobered up 2 days apart because I ran away from home again. But this time I wasn't coming back. He said, not even, I'll sober up. Blah, blah. I said, great, I'm glad for you. But I have to do this for me. I have to get sober for me. And I didn't just drag my kids to my sister's house, only to turn around and say, and put them through all this, only to turn around and return after, we have made bargains with each other. We've had contracts, nothing worked. You know what I mean? So he had to get sober for himself, or it was never going to work, because all I would end up being is a big resentment later on. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean when you say you have to be your authentic self, right? Brad was over 15 minutes late for our first date. I left. When he came, my mother said there's nobody home but us chickens, and slammed the door in his face. He opened the door and walked in. And when we did leave, she called my sister and said she's going to marry this one, and I did. Well, the second weekend Howie and I were together, we were hammered. Okay, he was pretty hammered, but he was still functional, like, not to drive or anything. But anyway, we were, Arthur was upstairs in bed, and we had candlelight in the living room and music, and we were, being romantic. And then I went to go in the kitchen for something, and as I came out, he grabbed my hands and he said, "Promise me you'll marry me someday. Not anytime, it doesn't have to be soon, but just promise me you'll marry me someday." I said, "Of course." And then he went like this, and he put my hands, and he held my hands like this. And he said, "In these hands, I'm putting my heart. Please don't drop it. I may never recover." What do you say to that? First batch of Cornish pasties. I got 33 now. Vicky, do you have a video of that? I said thank you the first time hubby said thank you the first time I kissed him. Do you crochet? If so, do you have videos? I don't crochet. I do crochet a little bit. I used to, but I don't know how to read a pattern. I'm self-taught. So no, I don't have any videos. I only have knitting videos. You paint such a wonderful picture. Well, thank you. Raph, he may act gruff. Yeah, and pat me on the head and stuff like that. But I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that man loves me and will love me forever. That's it. That's all. Right? When I say, like people say, like when my mother passed away and I started parading women in front of my dad, like she died when I was 9. By the time I was 16, I was starting to realize that it wasn't natural for my dad to live alone. It wasn't right. Right. And then I started saying, "Hey, she's single, And he goes, "No, Bev, I'm done." And it's like, finally I sat down. I actually had a couple of beers with my dad one night. And I said, "Dad, why?" And he goes, "Bev, your mother and I were married 24 years or something like that. I don't even know how long they were married. 22 years they were married." He said, "And we were just starting to get comfortable with each other. I don't have that in me twice." And I had to respect it. And now I understand it. Because it's a lot of work. Don't think it's all these romantic moments. These romantic moments are brought to you by years of power struggles, and years of sexist behavior, and years of alcoholism and raising children in chaos. And all these wonderful moments are just glimpses of what we had to work to be, right? So, don't think for a minute we never fought. Oops. Hell, we still fought. We still fight. That racing car just about put a nail in the marriage coffin the first winter he was building it. But you know what? We sat down after blowing a stupid amount of money on building it, And we talked about how we could make it sustainable for him. Because I didn't want him to lose the one thing that was bringing sparks into his eyes again. Aside from me, of course, right? But, but I mean, you know what I mean? It can't all be, our kids are grown. We've done our job. It can't all be about work and paying bills anymore. It's got to be, we got to have some of our life back. Oh, you made crabapple jelly. How did it turn out? You know what? You can make apple jelly, but crabapple jelly's the best. I could listen to that story all the time. I doubt I will ever find that. You know what? Honey, you're already negatively affecting your chances because you're doubting that you're worthy of that kind of love. And we are all worthy of that kind of love. It's just got to be the right person, right? Just got to be the right person. And thank God I found him the first time. Hell, I've been proposed to and I've said yes, but I didn't say the vows until Howie. And I'll never say them again. Unless like we reaffirm them or something. My only daughter and her boyfriend have been dating since they were 13. Now 17 and still together. Wow. I hope they don't just get married someday because they think that's what's expected of them. I mean, that's growing together, yes, but they're still very, very young. I was 26 when I met Howard and 29 when I married him. Right? Because, like I said, I only was doing it once. I had to be damn sure, right? Hi, my stupidity. I hate calling you that. From Wales. How are you? You know Howie's grandfather, Nan's dad, came over on the orphan ships from Wales. It's hard in your 50s to meet someone. Not these days, it's not. But it is harder to find somebody more authentic because you can be anybody on the internet. And too many people fall prey to that. And it's really, really sad. I'm so glad I'm not dating. I'm not someone trying to date and find love at this point in our Earth's age, you know? Hey, Julie Aston, how's it going? I wrecked my husband's beloved pickup into a post at Dairy Queen. I was buying him a shake. It wasn't even the correct flavor. I took the whole side off. When was this? When you were dating? I was 16 when I met my husband and 20 when we married. I have officially been with him half my life now. Well, let's see. I'm 56. And I met Howard when I was 26. Well, no, I actually met him when I was 18. 19. Yeah, 18. No, yeah, we've been together 30 years. And I'm 56. So yeah, we've been together longer than we have been apart. Howie's only 53. He's been with me since he was a kid. Bev, your headband reminds me of Solar Moon. Like a harvest moon. On this harvest moon. Here, shall we change it up? No, I'm not into ears today. I like my pom-poms. I have known my husband since he was 5. Me and my ex rushed and got married after 4 months. We divorced a year later, amicably, and laughed at how much we hated each other. It was a great divorce, no kids, basically an annulment. Well, that's the whole point about rushing into marriage, right? I mean, even if Howie had said, let's get married tomorrow, I would have said, no. Someday is good. I'm good with someday, right? Sailor Moon. Oh, like in the Navy. In the Navy. Got married at 20 years old, been married 44 years. Wow. Well, those are the days, hey? I mean, there's something to be said for that. Howie and I, we're both raised in nuclear families, right? where dad did the most of the breadwinning, and mom occasionally worked outside the home when it needed help, but mom was the raising of the children, cooking the meals, doing the laundry. And they stuck together through thick and thin. Now, Howie's parents like to argue. My parents only argued when they were half cut when they were playing cards. It was never any real arguments they had or disagreements they had. They never did it in front of us kids because they wanted to be a unified front. They didn't want to give us any ammo, right? You don't. You never asked my dad, can I do this? Because he'd say, what did your mother say? Right? Always a united front. Problem with that was I thought they never fought. And so when Howie and I had our first fight, I thought the world was ending. I thought my relationship was over. I didn't think you were supposed to fight. Right? Disagreements, yeah, but fight, never. Right? I had no idea. So Howie goes, Bev, this is where I learned the first lesson. Just because I'm pissed at you doesn't mean I don't love you. Get out of here, that fly. I learned that lesson. And then I phoned my dad and go, Dad, what? He goes, why did your mom never fight? And he goes, oh, we fought plenty, just never in front of you guys. So, and then he explained it to me. So, thank you. They're pom-poms. I feel like a Pooh Bear today. All raw going in oven. Okay. Okay, wait a second. What are we talking about? Any Halloween ideas for kids? Well, what most people are going to do, I think, is if you have a neighborhood or like a cul-de-sac where you live, if you live in the city, it's good to get together with your neighbors or talk to your neighbors and not necessarily get together, but like communicate and maybe set up a decorations at the end of the driveway, right? And put out individual bags so nobody's reaching into bowls, put out individual treat bags. And so that, when the kids come along, they can socially distance. Put up glow in the dark spacers or something at the end. And then you can watch from the end of the driveway or 6 feet back in lawn chairs, right? And you can make sure everything's going to go as planned. Yeah. Well, I mean, Howie and I had similar but varying backgrounds, but we were raised very, very much the same. And that's one of the pluses on our marriage. We were raised by people who, no matter how pissed they were with each other, they never gave up. Oh, Kel, I'm on my way out, honey. It's been almost 2 hours and I got to feed my man. Hey, Sarah Young. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of places. Where's egg jar? What egg jar? Oh, I never thought about that. You mean on the thing? Hi, Barbara. Agostino? 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 How do you pronounce that? I grew up in the same type of home. My parents fought out of earshot. But the thing is, is fighting out of earshot, it's not necessarily healthy. Kids need to know that their parents have disagreements, that love can withstand disagreements. Then they don't get scared, right? They may get scared when you're fighting or you're arguing, but you need to be able to say, hey guys, listen, we're just having a disagreement. This does not mean we don't love each other. We're just having a difference of opinion loudly. Go back to watching cartoons or ride your bikes or play your video games or whatever. It's all good. We are okay. We're just arguing. You know how you argue with your brother over the Legos? That's how it works. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So, but we had to learn that, right? What am I missing here? Well, I mean, there comes a point in our lives that we have to stop blaming our upbringing for certain things in our lives. Yeah, I didn't understand. But guess what? I figured it out and I moved on, right? So arguments are still arguments. We still have our disagreements, and they very seldom get scary, like emotionally scary, where, we feel like we're on a precipice of something. It almost never happens. him building a race car pushed it a little bit, right? But that's only because I wasn't aware of certain things that were he was doing and spending and I didn't know, right? Kind of thing. So, exactly, teaching kids how it works, right? How it works, honesty, open-mindedness, willingness. HOW is how it works. Right? I learned that in the program, but it doesn't matter. This isn't necessarily about program. Just because I went to AA doesn't mean you can't share in the benefits of the tools I learned, right? But yeah, it sets them up for success, right? As long as they know that they can count on their parents being there. That wasn't always true for us. That wasn't always true for us. But thank God our kids got to witness us sober up and witness us become sane people who were there for them, who could be there for them. You know what I mean? Oh, crap. It would be like, yeah, we wouldn't be human if we could agree all the time. And by God, would that be boring? Because makeup sex is great. All right, I just TMI'd the entire conversation. So, do you really, Paul? Oh, that's awesome. Going to bed angry, yeah, is not a good idea. Never let the sun set on your anger. Why? Because it cooks overnight and it gets hard and it bakes and it overcooks. And what became maybe a simple solution upset now becomes a standoff the next day, right? Not a healthy way, right? Stay up all night. Sit in neutral corners and pout if you have to, but you work it out before you go to bed. Yeah, it cooks and gets magnified. Absolutely. Hey, Shandon, how's it going? You have to remember you are two different people. Sometimes you're going to disagree. Yeah, we are married and we are cleaved as one, but we still disagree on a lot of things. But guess what? We're no longer finishing each other's sentences. We're speaking shit at the same time. It's getting creepy in here, folks. You know, we'll say, you know, or we'll finish a conversation we had 3 days ago, right? We'll say, now who is that? And then 3 days later, we're going to bed and I'm just relaxing. And that's when things pop in your mind. And I'll go, oh, it's Tom Hardy. And he goes, right. And Briar's like, what the fuck just happened? Sorry. What the hell just happened? And I said, oh, no, it's something Daddy and I were trying to figure out 3 days ago. And he goes, that never ceases to amaze me that you guys do that. You know? So, whose choice? Okay, wait a second. I had to stop talking to my grandma. She told me she'd rather have two 10-year relationships instead of spending 20 years with one person. Well, then she obviously didn't meet the right person. You don't have to stop speaking to her. You just have to change the subject when it comes up, right? I've learned, this is a really cool thing I've learned, that when I hear stuff I don't agree with, and this person, especially if it's an older person like your grandmother, they're not going to change their mind. It's there. It's their opinion and they're entitled to it. Okay? You don't have to make them understand your way of thinking. You just have to accept that it's different from yours and move on. Okay? And when the subject comes up and go, I know your opinion, Gran, thank you very much. And change the subject. What's your favorite brand of apples? Or where did you get that? Did you get your hair done? Something, right? You don't have to go there. You don't have to ride that truck all the way to the dump to know where it's going. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? However, I never put in a wedding message, never go to bed angry. Instead, it's never go to bed apart. Howie and I sleep in separate beds. That's another shocker. Okay? When we first started sleeping together, he was a human blanket. His head was here and his leg was over here and he was draped over me. And he's a bloody oven. He's a Dutch oven. And I've always, this is how I know my fibro has been a long time thing. My entire life, I've never been able to gauge heat well or gauge temperatures well. My brothers never would take me tobogganing or ice skating because I always got cold too fast, right? My father, always had the furnace too high. So I like to sleep in a cold room. Poor Howie, right? But the day I mentioned, maybe we should go to the 50 style and have twin beds, and he said, over my dead body, right? But a few years back, yeah, I know, when they run hot, eh? Well, he snores too, and because he would be right next to me, it'd be in my ear. So I'd have to say, "Hey, roll over," but he's across the room, and I have a fan on, so I don't really hear it as much, right? But he was like over my dead body. Well, that was in the beginning. Fast forward 27 or 28 years, and we're in Toronto on New Year's Eve in a really nice corner suite in a hotel, in a Marriott, right? And he's going to polar plunge in Toronto the next day. And we thought my mother-in-law was coming with us, so we made sure we had two beds. And we got there in this beautiful suite. We thought it was going to be cheap, but it was a beautiful suite. And we looked at these big, high piled beds, and we looked at each other, and he goes, "Which one do you want?" Right? And then we realized we got the best night's sleep because I wasn't keeping him awake, rolling, because I can only sleep in one position for so long before I get into a lot of pain, and I can't hear his snoring. Right? It's less when he's across the room. And we looked at each other because we had just graduated to a king size bed to accommodate all our dogs, because we had like 4 dogs at one point, right? And now we were down to 2. We had Gracie and Frankie had to go because Gracie they weren't compatible, right? Sometimes even animals just don't friggin' like each other, right? And can't live together. It's that simple. But ever since then, the idea percolated, and I said, I got a really good night's sleep last night. And he goes, and I said, you know what, Howie? A king size bed is just 2 twins. And he goes, yeah. And I said, we got a lot more room in that room. And he goes, what are you thinking? I said, I'm thinking maybe we should get 2 double beds. And he goes, I think maybe you're right. Because our king size bed had a memory foam mattress on it, and it was killing me, right? We bought it, and I bought a double memory foam mattress, and it killed me. So I have a firm regular mattress, and he has memory foam, and we're both happy as campers, right? The only time we actually sleep together is when we want to, but usually it's in the coach. And that's why I call it date night in the motor coach, because we get to snuggle in a bed, all 3 of us, because Gracie won't sleep on the couch at night. So, all right, listen. My youngest son even snored a little as a little baby. All right, listen, folks, it's been over 2 hours. I gotta go make my hubby. It's 20 to 6. And if I don't slap him something together real sharpish, he's not going to be a happy camper. So, and it's time to have dinner and watch some TV with my hubby. So, for all those who care to, please help me close with a spiritual blessing. Now, this is a non-denominational plea to the higher power of your understanding. All right? My higher power, my God, is my God. Okay? Him and I have our own relationship, and you have yours with yours. So this is non-denominational. Don't let the fact that I sometimes call my higher power God or chief or, hey, great spirit, whatever I'm in the mood for, don't let that change the fact that you can add your spiritual blessing no matter what you believe. All right? You can add your light. Okay? All right. Let's take a nice deep breath. And if you don't want to stay, that's okay too. No judgment, honestly. All right. Let me get a sip of tea. Grilled cheeses, babe? Egg sandwiches? You think of something. Hey, God, it's us connected hearts. And we come together once again. Really long stream today. We had, it's been a good day, God, and thank you for that. And that's all I got to say. Thank you. Because you know what? These are the kind of days, like somebody said, you put in your pocket and save for a nasty one. So you got something to remember that's nice. Thank you for all the wonderful people that have come in and shared their love and their stories and their strength and their hope and their experience. Um, it, it's so uplifting every day for us to come together. Um, my YouTube family, God, I love my YouTube family. But God, while we share our love and our light and our laughter, there's a lot of people out there that feel alone or abused or neglected or overwhelmed by the dark crap that's going on in the world today. So, God, until or even if they don't ever have a chance to get to know you one on one, we're going to lift them up out of the darkness into the sunshine of your love. Because we know, God, that when we share love and light and laughter, our light shines brighter together. And together we can push back more of the darkness, right? We know the darkness exists and it has to exist because we wouldn't have anything to compare the light to. But it doesn't mean we have to live in it, right? We choose to live and walk in the light of your love. So, God, for all those people who need you so much, who don't have the support that we have for each other, please, God, help them. Let them feel your love today. And thank you again for an amazing day. And Lord, give me strength to get through the next week. Yeah. Amen. Namaste. Shalom. Peace be with you. Merry meet. Miigwech. Blessed be. Whatever your salutation is, let it be spoke with love and confidence. Because when we put that light out there, it's got to do something, if only to shed back some of the darkness, right? It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling, a feeling to know that we'll be back when the day is new or late, and we'll have more inspirations for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. Mwah! I love you guys. And remember, hugs actually have medicinal benefits, but only if they last for 20 seconds. If you ever notice when you hug somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, or even someone you just want to hug, we have a tendency to go in, hug, go boom, boom, and back away. And the truth is, if you actually hold on to that person just a little bit longer, you feel your body start to relax and you take a deep breath. And that's when the hug becomes medicinal. Hugs are medicinal. Don't believe me, do your own research. Take care. God bless. And all things being equal and normal, I'll be back sometime tomorrow late afternoon. Mwah! Love you guys.